Hey, what's up, hello, and welcome to the very first episode of the Filo Step. So today, me, Carbatong Bakal, and my co-host today is Nico Rocha, my longtime friend and a very, very good person who has helped me get into this world, with podcasting and all that. So today we're gonna be talking about the NBA trade deadline that sent the world into a crazy, crazy downward spiral last week. So first of all, let's take a look at the Luka trade. So Nico, I know you're the bigger Luka fan here than me. So I think I'm gonna give this one to you.
I'm more of a Steph fan, but for this Luka trade, it really changed how the trajectory of the Lakers timeline would be. It changed how the NBA would look like in the next 10 to 15 years, considering that the Lakers what their current problem is right now is that before the trade was that is AD capable enough to handle the torch when LeBron leaves, all that. But with this
Mm,
one, it resets their timeline. We also had it almost looked like a done deal with the Mark Williams one, that deal as well. And
yeah,
what would have been a lob threat, because you know what Luca does with lob threats, right? With Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford, right? We've seen that with the Mavericks, but without a capable center, I mean, for all Jackson Hayes does, he is not he is not a starting center. He is a backup at best, and then the rest of the guys after Jackson Hayes is I won't say G League. Well, you've seen it, maybe Trey Jameson, Christian Caloco, two-way contract
mm,
guys, while Jared Vanderbilt is like AD but worse with regards to his injury history.
yeah,
And but he's a small ball five at best. Like if you put Jared Vanderbilt at the five, you already know that the Lakers are going small ball, right? So without
yep.
that lob threat, right now, at least in this first year, the Lakers look like a first round, second round fixture in the playoffs. Best finish would be the second round. And in a
Yeah.
way, this year for the Lakers would be a year wherein if they don't go past the first round or second round, people will give them a pass. And they will be
Yeah.
like, it's okay, you just got Luca, you guys are gonna rebuild the roster around him. So this gives LeBron this gives the Lakers 1 year, considering the patience of fans with the Lakers
Mm,
and also haters, maybe a year to just fix it, and then
yeah.
they want to win the championship next year. They need to make a move in the summer, Carl, or else they're quick to forget. People are quick to forget that
Oh
even though
yeah.
Rob Pelinka got Luka, they won't
Mm,
care. They're like, "Where's the center?" Diba,
yeah.
there's a meme on TikTok about the Lakers need a center. You
Oh
know
yeah, they
that?
need a center. It's
They
been
need a
going on
center.
for years and it's still the same until
It's still
now.
the same.
Which is fun, which is funny because they were supposed to get Mark Williams, and we've talked about this privately also. Like, oh, it's Mark Williams. We know how exciting he is on the post, how he can defend a lot of positions, especially until the three, I would
Hmm.
say. But then at the same time, apparently the Lakers found something about Mark Williams that they're not entirely pleased about. So that trade has been vetoed or it has been rescinded by the Lakers, and now Dalton Kinect's coming back to the Lakers, and then you have Mark Williams going back to the Hornets, which is going to make for a weird situation, I would say.
Yeah, it's
It was a
weird.
massive risk in the first place, but then, with his history of injuries, and now we find out he might actually have injuries. We don't know yet what exactly is happening with Mark. There has been no details as I've seen yet, so not sure if it's the back or if it's the foot. I've had him on my fantasy team for years, especially.
And
So like
he
I kind
only
of
gets to
figured out.
play for like half at
Yeah,
best.
dude.
He only gets to
At
play
best,
half of the games at
you
best.
get 41, and it might even be 20, 27, or like 31. That's the risk that you're getting. But in that small sample size, like you're getting a lot out of him. You're getting a lot of value out of him. But the problem is he just can't stay healthy. So I kind of understand why the Lakers would want to pull back on that trade. So yeah, with the Luka trade, it's going to be a risk. I would agree. Especially for them this year, it's going to be a first round, possibly a second round exit at best. I'm not counting on them to win the finals or make it to the Western Conference Finals because you have the Thunder, you have the surging Rockets. Even to a certain degree, you might even have the Spurs be a surprise. So it's gonna be a lot of moving parts for the Lakers here, and yeah, it's a big win for the Mavs as well. Let's not forget to mention that because people keep talking about the Lakers as if, oh, it's such a steal for the Lakers, but they forget that the Mavericks also get a very massive steal for Anthony Davis here. He's playing his best basketball as I've seen this year. He's not been as injured as often as I would see him in the past few years. I'm happy with that. So I mean, it's still a win. They have three bigs, but Lively's out. So you have Gafford and AD manning the whole thing, and you still have Kyrie in play. So that's still a competitive team. I would give them 3 years to compete, I would say.
For the Mavs, it's about the Mavs, right? They have three. Yeah,
Oh,
actually,
yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
timeline of Nico Harrison that he said that the future
Yeah.
three is 3 to 4 years. And then I think a
Yeah.
reporter asked him, "What's a long term future like?" Oh, I don't know. It's either what did you say? Like they would pick up people would pick up his grave and Jason Kidd's grave, and I was like, why are you involving Jason Kidd? And Jason Kidd was like, what?
The dude just
And
like went for a massive trade and like, nah, it's you and me. Like, what?
And he's like, "What?
Doesn't
I
make
didn't."
sense.
He didn't know like about the trade on the 11th hour, as he said in the press conference.
Yeah.
And I've been watching videos wherein there was this lady that where it's her job to see the body language of videos, and she was like
Mm-mm.
she knew that she was analyzing Jason Kidd,
Mm-hmm.
and she said that Jason Kidd was very uneasy. He keeps touching his neck and everything, which is a sign of just not being just when your words don't agree with your body. That's what she was
Yeah.
saying. So yeah,
Yeah.
it really shows that Jason Kidd's not acting, that he doesn't know. It looks like he's
Oh,
caught
yeah.
blindsided,
Yeah.
considering that he loves Luca.
Yeah. I'm like, I mean, even if I had that idea, like I would have traded KD for Luka at this point if they wanted that.
KD
Dude.
for KD's 35. That's 10 years.
Pero it's the ceiling raiser.
If it's a home run move, if you're gonna do
Yeah.
a home run move,
Diba? If you're going to make that move, if I was the Phoenix Suns in that position, because if you're comparing AD to like the top elite players in the league today, like it's a no-brainer. You'd offer someone like Luka, like KD for AD. That's that kind of what do you call it? That tier of players, like
yeah,
they're
yeah, yeah.
good, like they'll raise your floor and also at the same time raise your ceiling. So it's a weird trade, I would say. I do understand where Nico is coming from, Nico Harrison especially. Um, but yeah, there's been a lot of backlash, and to a certain degree, I would agree to the backlash as well. But then again, I heard Charles Barkley talk about this.
Yeah,
I think with Bleacher Report, like he was putting it on something that the Mavs might know something that we don't.
could be,
So
could be, could be.
like it could be like yeah, he passed his physical. The trade has been confirmed. So, but like I'm not sure if the Mavs or the Lakers agree that maybe Luca might be nursing a long-term injury, or we don't know. We don't know. It's a really weird trade at first glance, but then when you look at it deeper, like if you're Nico Harrison and you know that Luca might have a shelf life of about 6, 7 years, by age 32, what he's done already, we don't know. We really don't know. So it's an interesting move. It really shook up the trade deadline. It woke me up. I was going home with my family. We just ate, and then what the hell is this? It's a Luka trade for AD. I'm like, nah, 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 nah.
It looked
I had to
fake.
check.
That's what it
It
really
looks
looked fake
so
at first.
weird,
Like, oh,
dude. It's weird. It's a weird trade. But then, as soon as you let it sink in and just absorb it, like, okay, fine. I kind of get where they're both coming from. So yeah, it makes sense.
well, time will only erase the hate for Nico Harrison if they win a championship. I think people can forgive him that, okay, if they win the championship, they don't mind losing that extra 4 or 5 years of shelf life if Luca was still there. He's
Exactly.
obviously a great crowd favorite. Is a great marketing tool for the Mavericks. Like, think about it business wise, but I think this is a whole another podcast if we discuss like that's conspiracy theory
Mm,
on why the
yeah.
Mavs traded, and it has something to do with their owner. But it's not for this episode. Maybe that's something that we could just deep dive and go
Yeah.
theory Like they're saying,
Yeah, we can just go. We can just go full conspiracy theories on
because
it.
I read a lot of stuff on Reddit about it, and it looks like
Yeah,
it has legs to it. It's not just a theory that people just pulled
yeah,
out of their asses. It's really a theory wherein if you think about it, oh yeah, they sold it to this owner. They're
yeah,
trying to lobby to move it to Vegas or something. How do we do that? It's
yeah.
a
It could make sense.
it's an episode in itself.
Yeah, it
So
is
next,
definitely.
yeah, next one is the Jimmy Butler trade. So this one, initially, I thought this was a big loss for the Warriors if we were gonna choose a winner or a loser for this specific trade. But now that I think about it, okay, I'm now on the fan. I'm now on the side of them winning this trade,
Mm-hmm.
considering that's only for 2 years. It kind of rejuvenated Steph. You could see it in the press conference. I watch Warriors games. So you can see in the press conference
Yeah.
that Steph looks like there's also joy in his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
He's what do you call this? Because prior to the trade, it looks like Steph was down and out already. He
Yeah.
didn't like how the Warriors were a 500 team, which we're not used to. Obviously, there was something missing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm willing to give the Jimmy Butler trade a go and see how far the Warriors can what do you call this can reach the playoffs. Even though the Jimmy Butler's old, it could just be like what would prevent Steph from requesting a trade and be like, just
Yeah.
trade me to a winning team. It
I
extends
think
his
it's
life.
that. It's at that point. Yeah. I think it is. I did. I was. I've been. Here we go again. I do have Jimmy Butler in my fantasy team. The fantasy's been helping me a lot, especially with the trade deadline. Like, damn, this guy got moved, or like ruins everything. But now for this season, I picked on Jimmy Butler. I got him for like the sixth round or fifth round because
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
everyone thought, yeah, he keeps slipping, injuries and all that. But then when you look at his first game with the Warriors this season, in 29 minutes, this guy had seven made field goals out of 12, 25 points, two rebounds, four assists, one steal, a block, and just one turnover. So the Jimmy Butler effect is real. Like he does give them a better chance of competing this year and next year, and even I would say the next 2 years. Because if I remember correctly,
The
he
next
signed
two
a
years,
2 year deal, right? Like for
60
120,
million.
2 year
60 million per
120.
year.
Dude, that's like Paul George money, but Butler's a lot better than Paul George at this point, and they're at the same age almost. It's weird.
I think I just can't accept that he's earning more than Steph Curry on a year to
Yeah,
year basis, at least in the next two. But that's with
yeah,
taking into effect the CBA already, and it's an
yeah.
extension. And Steph would demand more money after his deal is
Oh
done.
yeah, yeah. Like
So the
it,
championship of the Warriors would depend on Jonathan Kuminga as well growing, because
definitely.
they're banking on their young stars to actually just take a leap. We're not saying that
Mm,
Kuminga needs to be a superstar, but if Kuminga's the one with star potential. Pod's
yeah,
ceiling got
he's
lower
there.
after
He's there. Yeah,
it got
he's
a
a
bit
little.
lower,
Yeah, yeah. I understand that.
and
And
then
then you
there's a
have Quinn and
Quinton
Post.
Post. Quinton
Yeah, dude,
Post. Oh,
dude,
you know about him.
he's
Great.
been a
I love it.
revelation, dude. I love that guy. Like I was just here. I was watching the Suns game with the Warriors the other day, and like, dude, who is this big white guy in the post? Like he's not doing much, but he's effective. And then only for me to find out, oh, that's the post guy that everyone's been talking about. So I'm like, okay, I can kind of see where they're going from here because TJD got demoted practically. He's been riding the
To
bench
the
for a
bench.
while.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have Kevon Looney starting, but then I see Post getting more minutes or about the same amount of minutes with TJD, and it's the same thing. But when you see Quinn and Post move in the post around the wing, he gets a lot more spacing out of the Warriors that they've been sorely missing. And it's actually interesting how it will play out later on in the season, as the Warriors make a push for potentially the sixth seed, or as it looks at this point, it might be a play-in seed. So
They look a play-in
yeah,
team. They're making a push for
yeah,
the
they're
play-in
most likely.
tournament.
They're,
Hey,
it is
better
most
than
likely a
11th
play-in.
place, better than 11, better than
Oh,
10.
for sure,
Just
for sure.
rise up, just go up, like
Just
maybe 7,
just
8,
make it.
so that, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I love how you know about Quinton Post, considering you're a Suns fan. Actually, yeah, because we're in the Pacific Division. You would know who your opponents
Oh
are.
yeah. Oh, I have to keep an eye on everyone. It's like, oh, it's the Lakers, it's the Kings, it's the Clippers, it's us, and then it's the Warriors. It's like, yay! It's the five. It's a five. It's a death division. It's been like that since the early 2000s, man. It's been. it's been a bloodbath, and I hate it, but it makes for exciting basketball. So when we're talking about the Jimmy Butler thing, let's just bring it back to the Butler trade.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can tie it up.
The Miami Heat, I would say they won this trade as well. They just won by simply moving away from Jimmy Butler. That's it. Like the drama's been eating up the Heat for much of the season, essentially since the start. Now you have the keys to the kingdom with Tyler Hero. You have Bam Adebayo at center. Hopefully he can make a strong push in the second half of the season. And then you have who's
Khalil
this?
Ware has been a great
Kelal
center.
Ware also,
Yeah, the rookie.
especially. Yeah. And it's just been interesting how the Heat have been making a push like, oh, let's move Jimmy Butler for this amount of picks, this big player, but like at the same time, I think Pat Riley was at the point like I just have to let go of this guy. It's over. I can't push it
They're
anymore.
clashing. They're clashing
Yeah,
publicly.
yeah,
He's causing problems in the locker room. He's getting suspended. I think he got suspended
yeah,
3 times
yeah.
before getting the boot out of Miami, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just a very toxic relationship already. It was a trade that everybody saw coming.
Yeah.
If not this trade deadline, he would have gotten moved in the
Oh
summer
yeah,
for sure.
I would have thought so too. But then you also saw these reports of who's this? Pat Riley telling Jimmy Butler that he was trying to be a father figure to Jimmy, allegedly. I just saw this on Reddit, NBA Reddit. So it's like everything was there. Like supposedly, Pat Riley was telling Jimmy Butler that he wanted to be a father figure to Jimmy Butler, and that they can relate to each other because both of their dads have passed. I don't know if that's true or who leaked it. That's a weird thing to say in the first
Is that
place.
a weird thing to say?
Like, dude, why would you say that, man? Like, I personally don't get it, but then I kind of see where Pat was trying to go with that. Like he's trying to be relatable with Jimmy B and everything that he's going through in his past life. But then the past year. But then at the same time, just you don't have to talk about everything with your player, with your friends. So yeah, it doesn't. The Jimmy Butler era is officially over in Miami. It's going to be interesting what happens in the East for the Heat. So now let's go with another East team since we're already here. Let's go to Brandon Ingram being traded to the Toronto Raptors. This
Yeah.
is weird because they have an ultra hybrid lineup of Brandon Ingram, you have Scotty Barnes, and then you have RJ Barrett to man the 2, 3, and 4. And then you have Emmanuel quickly running the point guard position, but he's been out for most of the season with a lot of weird injuries. He's had hip issues, I think an ankle sprain at one point, and then
Mm.
a wrist sprain, if I remember correctly. So it I don't know what trade the Raptors were doing with this one. Um, I'm not entirely pleased with it, I would say, but then I kind of get why they made the trade for Ingram. So they lost. I think it was Bruce Brown, who was the
Yeah,
center
Bruce
team in that
Brown.
trade. Yeah, I forget the other
Not
one. There
really
was another.
a needle mover. I mean, yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, but like I think it was more of a depth move for the Pelicans because the Pelicans have been besieged by injuries. They've been racked by injuries this year. And then the Raptors just made a trade for another lengthy forward, which makes sense running him next to Scotty Barnes, next to RJB. But I don't get what they want to do in the long term. Like, let's say in the next 3 seasons. Is this going to be a move? Do you think this is going to be a move that like they keep Ingram for the long term, or do they try to flip him next year?
Well, for me, I like the Toronto Raptors trade for Brandon Ingram. They have a decent foundation now with Grady Dick, Scotty Barnes, Brandon Ingram. You also have Emmanuel Quickly, RJ Barrett.
Mm,
That's a solid five young guys to have on your roster. And I think it's just that I think what made this trade weird was because of just the timing. I think
mm.
the Raptors are what, 12 and 39? Oh,
Yeah.
16 and 37. They are 16 and 37. Sorry. They're 16 and 37 for the Raptors. And right now, this just doesn't make sense, right? But if you think about it, into the long run, their age matches up. It looks like Ingram and Jakob Pertl are your bets. But it's a night. And PJ Tucker's there.
Yeah,
The carcass of PJ Tucker. I didn't know
almost
he was still in the
40-year-old
league.
PJ.
I
Yeah,
didn't
he
know he
was,
was
he
still
was,
in
he
the
was.
league.
Yeah, I saw Jeff Teague celebrating about it on Instagram. So it's like,
Right? You're like, oh, he's still
yeah,
in the league. PJ
like, oh
Tucker's
yeah,
still in the
oh yeah, he does.
still in the NBA. Anyway, for the Raptors, I mean to be honest with the Pelicans, I thought they would move Zion first, considering how
Definitely.
I was thinking that with Zion's trade value sinking down the drain. I thought
Mm-mm,
that we have to move this guy before it
mm-mm.
completely becomes zero. Because he's
Makes sense.
becoming a risk. He's really becoming a
He,
risk.
he is,
So
he
for
is.
me, it's either they're gonna look for a co-star to sign in New Orleans, which is hard to imagine considering that New Orleans isn't really a free agent destination. I mean, they have great food, but it's not really an NBA city, right? You really have to draft. You really have to.
That was so not right.
Why? This is really.
That
This
was,
is really.
that was not right. Like I knew where you were going with the food and then the Zion trailer. Like I saw that.
But people can agree
Yeah, they
with
would.
that one. Anyway, for it's either for the Pelicans, it's either this is a move that signals that, okay, we're gonna recalibrate and see who can we can build around Zion, or
Mm-mm.
this is the precursor to let's blow it up. And I feel like Zion's next by the summer. We're gonna get blindsided with the Shams bomb of Zion Williamson getting traded. So it's the best move for the Pelicans for me. They're going nowhere.
Yeah, and then you have like the carcass of CJ McCollum as well on that team. So like,
Oh, he's still good. He's still all right.
I mean,
Still all
he's
right. He's still
good.
all
He's
right.
still all right. But then with the amount of like, you have
He's not a piece.
the
He's not a
guy.
piece.
Yeah, he's not there anymore. Like he doesn't fit the timeline for the Pelicans. I think they move him first over Zion. They will try to retool around Zion. I think because they got Bruce Brown, who's a two-way player who's been on the championship Nuggets team. So that's a move that I would like. I'm interested to see what they do next in the off season, especially. So yeah, I'm not entirely pleased or displeased about it. I'm more confused for the Raptors than the Pelicans. The Pelicans, it makes sense for them to just let's try something. We have to try something for Zion before we officially move on from the Zion era, which sadly I don't think ever started. So which is
It's
interesting.
always it started, but I feel like it's always been on pause. It gets paused, it gets
Yeah.
delayed. He never gets a momentum. Like I think the best momentum he had was during his All Star season. Was it last year or
Last year,
it was
he
last
had
year,
like
right?
61 games. I think
That's a
61 last
lot,
year.
which is a lot for him already.
Yeah.
That's already a miracle for Zion standards. So I don't know, man. He couldn't get that weight down. He's getting injured here and there's the smallest thing.
Yeah.
And I think that just comes with the body type that he has. Sometimes that's something I was gonna say something that he can't control, but it's something that you can control.
Yeah, because like if you think in the history of the league, you have guys like Charles Barkley, who's about smaller than Zion, but he's bigger than Zion, bigger
Mm,
quote unquote. But then at the same time, Chuck was able to slim down to a playing weight that he was comfortable in, but at the same time allowed him to retain strength. But then when you look at Zion, he's just big. But now he's slimmed down. I saw his face recently. It's like, oh, he's really making an effort. But at the same time, to be what 25, 24, and already having hamstring issues. As you all
it's a
know, hamstring
problem.
issues has decimated a lot of the league stars.
Especially with the way he plays. Especially with the way he plays. He
Especially
plays
with the
above
way
the
he
rim.
plays. Definitely, and it's weird because he's not even close to Lucas. He's close to Lucas' age, but then when you think about it, Luka's been playing a lot more than Zion, but then Zion already has hamstring issues that has decimated him so early into his career. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm scared for Zion's future in the NBA. I hope he makes it back. Like he gets back into condition like last year. And yeah, it's, Zion.
Yeah,
So
you
much
know, with
hope for the
Zion.
guy. I had so much
Well,
hope
there's
for
still
him.
hope. He's only 24, 25, so there's still time, but it's more of he just needs to work. He needs to wake up from his current situation, or else it's gonna go downhill. And he'll just disappear one day in the league, and people are like, "Oh, he's not in the league anymore."
He'll be one of those what if stories. Right now he is, but then yeah, Zion. I hope you get better, man. So now let's go to another Western Conference team. We're just ping ponging between the East and the West. It flows
Hmm.
perfectly, like the way we're talking about it.
Actually,
So now
actually, yeah, we did. Yeah, actually,
we didn't even talk about it that much. Like this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. Oh, it just ping pong. It flowed naturally. So now we're going to San Antonio. The Aaron Fox moving to the Spurs. It's a three-team trade between them and the Bulls and the Kings. So the trade package goes down like this. So the Kings get Zach Levine, Sidney Sissoko plus I think two or three picks, and then you have the Bulls getting Zach Collins, Kevin Huerter, Trey Jones from the Spurs, and then the Spurs obviously they get the Aaron Fox.
yeah.
What do you think about this, man?
I like the Aaron Fox to the Kings, to the Spurs. It's a he's perfect for Victor Wembanyama. The timeline makes sense since the Aaron Fox is still young. Not only can he score, he's also a good floor general. He could learn from Chris Paul while
Yeah.
being there. And we all know how Chris Paul elevates a team when he's there. But I think the Spurs have been losing lately. I think as of the recording of this podcast, they only have won one game out of their last five. And I think that has
Ooh.
something to do with the adjustment to having a De'Aaron Fox, considering that again, it's not that easy to integrate a player, a star, superstar, a borderline superstar like De'Aaron Fox to a system, considering he has a high usage rate, he's used to holding the keys for the
Mm,
whole Kings franchise. Everything runs through him there. It either goes through him first or Sabonis, vice versa. It's a 1A, 1B. But
mm,
the Aaron Fox with more kept with a training camp, a proper training camp during the summer,
mm,
getting to know Wemby will just follow their trajectory, which is on the way up. Because the Spurs already this year have a better record than they had last year. They're on
yeah.
their way there, right? So it's a move for the Spurs without giving up Stefan Castle. They didn't have to give up a Devin Vassell,
Mm.
right? Their
Yeah.
roster is intact.
Yeah, it's actually a good move. I would say it's a masterful move on the Spurs' part because you
It is
have
a good
Chris
move.
Paul on the
Yeah.
roster.
Yeah.
You have a floor general who can dictate the pace of the game, but he excels more in the half court. Like when he slows
Hmm.
the pace down. We've seen this especially with his run in Phoenix the past two seasons. I think starting 2021, that specific run for the Suns. Chris Paul enjoys playing it in the half court, especially at his age now. But back then, he pushed it way too hard. So now he's been slowing it down. It fits with Wemby more, I would say. But at the
Uh,
same time, it makes the Spurs super predictable with what they want to run. But then you have De'Aaron Fox who can like push the pace for the better part of a quarter. That makes them even more versatile and how it diversifies the Spurs' offense even more. And then you have Stephon Castle, like what you mentioned earlier. He's been interesting this year. He's a rookie. Let's not forget, but he's already looking like a solid piece for the Spurs' future. And then you also have oh man, who's this? I forget the name.
which one? I got
Keldon Johnson. I
Keldon
was about to
Johnson.
say
Yeah. Keldon
he's been
Johnson.
solid. He's been a solid piece as well. But I do wonder whether the Spurs they move him for more pieces. He's effective.
I feel like he's gonna get moved. I feel like
Yeah,
he's a bit of
right.
an odd man out.
It feels like a Deontay Murray situation with him, or even a Derek White thing. Like
Hmm.
he's about to get moved. He fits the timeline, but he's about to get moved. I just have this thinking feeling that he's about to get moved either this offseason or the next trade deadline. So it makes sense for them for the Spurs to do that. But what doesn't make sense for me is the Bulls. It's a confusing move. They got a wing in Kevin Huerter and a point guard in Trey Jones. They have Ayo Dawson move. They have Kobe White, and then they have Lonzo Ball. I
Hmm.
mean, I don't get it. I don't get the push for Trey Jones. I mean, he could be like the so-called mentor for these guys, or he can also move them to another spot, or it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for the Bulls. I'm just confused with how the Bulls are handling this whole thing, man.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
I
one pick from the Spurs,
one
one
pick.
first round, one pick
Oh
in
yeah,
the first
yeah,
round.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Dude, so weird.
Yeah, and then for the Bulls, like just to insert it here, I thought that Booch would get moved before Levine because Levine has been in the trade block for
Exactly,
years. But now I'm like, oh, okay, that's
exactly.
great. It's great that Zach Levine already got moved finally after he's been in the block for years, 4 years, 3, 4 years,
Like 3 years,
3 years ever since
3 years,
2022. I
dude.
remember 21, 2022, where they floated the idea that maybe the Rose and Levine partnership isn't going needs to be.
It is about. I think it was about. It did run its course earlier on, but then I think finding that willing trade partner to make a move for Zach Levine was more interesting because the dude is playing on a massive deal. It's
Hmm.
been viewed as one of the worst contracts in the league, right after Bradley Beal's non-trade clause having contract. So it was there. It was viewed it is viewed as an albatross for a lot of front offices based on what I've read and what I've heard. So yeah, it's an interesting move for the Kings, but then they pair him up again with DeMar DeRozan in Sacramento, who has been like they moved Tyrese Halliburton a few seasons ago, and then they moved the Aaron Fox this year.
Actually,
What the
yeah.
hell? What the hell are they doing?
No, there are some
Like
teams
they,
that just some moves that you just don't understand, right? So this makes them one of those losers in the trade deadline, but you never know what happens in the summer. That's how they're gonna redeem themselves for sure. Hopefully, they do something positive. I like the Lonzo Ball resigning though.
oh yeah, oh yeah, keep him on like 20 million, I think, if I remember correctly. I
But
think
I
it's
thought that
20 or 18.
I thought Lonzo was done for in the NBA, considering that it looked like he would have had difficulty walking, but the fact that
Oh yeah,
I think that was just overblown and that he was able to dunk again, see him how he's moving on the court. I said, okay, I think the Bulls are handling his recovery well, but a lot of work to go for the Chicago Bulls.
for sure, for sure. And I'm happy that they gave Lonzo that time to just recuperate and focus on himself. Not every team in the NBA would give him that grace period of just okay, just take your time, do what you have to do in rehab. We'll take care of you as best as we can, and then come back when you're fully healthy to do so. And Lonzo, watching him on the court right now, aside from the dunks and the highlight reel, man, it's like he's not as speedy as he was before. But then if you think about it, or if you just take a look at him on the highlight, he's still good, dude. Like he can still play. He can still be a piece or a veteran piece off the bench for some of these teams. And he's not even a vet. He's still younger than me, I think, because I'm
Younger
28.
than us.
I'm 28. I think he's 26, if I
Lonzo
remember
Ball
correctly.
age
Yeah.
27.
Yeah, he's 27. He's a vet, yeah. But then when you look at his career, like he spent most of that on the sidelines, rehabbing from his injury. So I'm just happy to see him right now. He's just moving on the court. He's a lot happier, especially if you saw that video of him with the Bulls and Matas Buzilis. Like they were just dancing along to his brother's song. Like dude tweaker. It was so fun. Like I'm happy to see Lonzo just he's got that energy back. Like when you see those injured players like, oh man, I feel so bad about myself. But then you see Lonzo, just living up life right now. Ball brothers are winning. All three of them, they're living good right now. And
Lavar
yeah,
was right. And then we can end the podcast
Lavar
with Lavar was right.
Lavar was right. Lavar was right. It took him a long time, but he was right. The other Jello might not be in the NBA, but he's still in
He
the
predicted
NBA
that.
thanks to
He
his
said
songs.
that he
Dude, he
predicted
called it.
that one. He said that his youngest would be the best, and then Cello would be the one who's gonna have a career outside basketball.
Oh yeah, dude. Like it's fun. It's fun. Like not like let me just segue before we end this podcast, man. Like
Mhm.
it's fun to see parents who are like all in on seeing or like just being super involved in their kids' future. Like you don't not a lot of parents are like Lavar. They don't want to be in that spotlight with their kids. But then if you watched Ball in the Family, like their series way before on Facebook, like Lavar and the kids and the three brothers, this is who they've been since way back when. It's just that now they're starting to fully realize their potential, I would say. And Lavar's been, yeah, we made fun of Lavar during that time because he made the comment about Jordan. He's better than Jordan. He can play like he's better than LeBron, or Lonzo's better than LeBron. And we know it was stupid. We know it was dumb. But then it gave those kids like the confidence to like, yeah, I can take on LeBron. And now you're seeing Lamelo. Lamelo's lighting up LeBron sometimes. Lamelo's lighting up the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
Lonzo just enjoying what he's doing with the Bulls, and then you have Jello. Practically, he's on my Spotify right now, and like he's been playing. He's on my playlist for when I'm starting to work. So like the Ball brothers are there, and Lavar's prediction is coming true. So yeah, it's been fun, dude. It's been fun to see the Ball boys get their licks in, get their reps in, to get their fame up, and yeah, it was a hectic trade deadline, Nico.
Yeah,
Too hectic,
definitely.
man.
Yeah, it's really fun, and it is the best for first episode to have, especially with how historical it is and how it could change how the future of the NBA, considering that the ratings are down, as they said.
Mm,
But when I for my personal for me personally, if
mm.
when they mean the ratings are down, I just feel like they're only taking account of the US ratings.
I would think
Because
so.
this is globally. I would say that globally the interest is still there for Filipinos. I'm sure everywhere,
Mm,
considering that
yeah,
Luca getting moved to a big market will get those attention of other casual fans, I must say.
yeah.
Because most of the fans are casual. Not all are really deep dive into the numbers. So overall, I think it's
Mm,
great for the league. And for our pod, I think we can do this like twice a week. Maybe we'll
yeah.
make another one this week just to see how things go. And we're still waiting for the Luca debut,
Mm-hmm.
but we'll be consistent here and follow our Instagram. We'll be posting our short form
Yeah.
reels there, and hopefully it's we will go places with this one.
Yeah, hopefully, man. Like we've been at this sports gig for like I think 5 years now. I think we met during the
My
pandemic.
my my yeah, 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 yeah.
I think
Exactly,
we
yeah.
met during the pandemic. Yeah. It's technically been 5 years now. It's been wild. Like, dude, I've
This
seen
could
you I've seen you just grow in sports, man. Like you were juggling two jobs before. I was like, dude, how does he
yeah.
do? And then with the 6 month podcast way back. So like in its early stages,
Yeah,
I'm just I'm
we had to switch it because if it's you're talking about Filipino basketball, you can
yeah.
mix. You know how it's different on YouTube compared to how
Yeah.
it is on TikTok and Instagram, wherein you can just jump from one topic to another. Right? It's
Yeah,
always
dude. Yeah,
been
yeah,
there's
yeah.
a YouTube algorithm. If it sees like okay, you're talking about PBA, and then you're gonna talk about NBA. It messes it
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. And I would defer that to you because you know it more than me.
Yeah,
I'm just the dude who writes about sports. I'm just starting to get into this whole podcasting thing. I do have a lot of opinions myself, but then
which
to
is
put it
perfect for
into
this one.
audio and video form, dude, this is your realm. I'm just stepping into it. So, I trust you on this one.
Yeah, that's very much it, guys. So we'll
Hell
see
yeah.
you all next time. Don't forget to subscribe, like, follow, and comment as well
Yeah.
on the pod, and make sure to to follow us on our Instagram. So we're just gonna be there on YouTube and
Yep.
Instagram. Just those are the platforms for now, and then we'll see on TikTok. I think we can just repost our short
Yeah.
form on
Yeah.
TikTok as well.
Could be. Yeah. Very possible.
All right, we'll see you all guys next time. Peace.
All right. Bye bye.